Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Talk with the Missus. I hope you can see me. As you can see, I am in a different location from the Missus, but we were determined to ensure that we still get this broadcast up today, and I hope you can hear me. I'm going to let the missus give a shout out. Today we're doing, I think you may call it cross country if you like. I'm all the way in Africa. The missus is in the UK, but we're still talking with the missus. Isn't that interesting? So I'll let the missus give a shout out to everyone as we prepare to begin our conversation today.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm hoping you can hear me too. This is a very new setup for me. So give me a thumbs up or give me, yeah, we can hear you, Mrs. on the comments. That would be helpful. But yeah, so we are excited because we're sure and we know that today is going to be a blessing. The Lord is in control. He is going to set the agenda, and this conversation is going to flow into somebody's DMs or flow into somebody's stream, but only if you share. So do share the broadcast. We're blessed to be a blessing. So do show that love by sharing the broadcast so you can bless somebody, and you just never know where it's gonna lead someone. Okay, thank you. Team Maximizing says we can hear you, and Deaconess Gloria says yes, I can hear you. I'm putting this down a little bit. If you see the way I set this up, man, this is like creativity at its best. But yeah, God bless you. Sean Johnson, God bless you. God bless you. Sarah, God bless you. Hello, good evening all. All right.
Great. So I think we'll give shout out to some of those who are online. We've got Tim Azmaizen says, good evening all. Please tell us where you are joining from. I am joining from Nigeria. The missus is joining from the UK. So tell us where you're joining from. We've got Deacon's Glory. Yes, I can see you, Sister Chioma. I hope they can see me as well. I believe they can.
See you. It's what we can hear me is what I wanted to know. But thank you, Team Maximizing, that said that.
No, we can hear you very clearly. We've got Team Maximizing, we can hear you. We've got Sean Johnson saying good evening, Pastor Moses and Sister Chioma. We've got Glory Uday saying hello and good evening to you both. Do you want to give a shout out to Sarah, babe?
Yeah, Sarah says, oh, wow. Hello, Mrs. Omoviye. Hope you are not too lonely. No, not too lonely. Always busy. Look too weird to see you up there alone. I know, right? Yeah, don't worry. By the next edition, Mr. will be back. Right here.
Yeah, Mr.'s back this weekend anyway. So you would see Mr. back in the UK.
Yeah. But in terms of the Talk with the Mrs. vibes, yeah.
Yeah, you keep going.
Oh, okay. Sandra says, can hear you both. Good to have you on board, Sandra. God bless you. Princess Fauna says, hi, Mom and Dad. Hello, my darling. Hello. All the way from California. Lovely. Sarah has got joining from Vienna. Oh, sorry, back on Princess Fauna. Where we are? We are in March, nearing the end. So Princess Fauna has got, if anyone is in the Ohio side of things, she's got an amazing conference coming up. I've actually been there before and spoken. It is, life transforming. So if you are there, I think it's 7th and 8th. You give me the dates, you put the dates, and people would be able to connect. God bless you. Okay. Team Maximizing. Oh, Vienna. Sarah says joining from Vienna. God bless you. Team Maximizing says Northampton. Wash hands. Which one is wash hands? I don't understand.
Now, I think maybe she wanted to put an emoji and then it came out as that. Yeah, I think so. But if I'm wrong, she will correct that.
I pray so. Yeah. Taraya says, good evening all. Good evening to you also. Esther says, good evening, Papa and Ma. God bless you. Good evening to you too. Pauline D'Souza says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Pauline. Where are you from again, Pauline? Let us know. Okay, Princess has come back. Yes, it's on the 8th and 9th of April. Oh, God bless you. And Happy says, hello, my beautiful family. Hello to you too. Okay, T Max Rice says, Pastor, you are right. See, this is our pastor. He just knows. Before anything, he just knows. Because if it's me, I'm saying, which one is washer? But Pastor just knew. It's emoji. Just erase any kind of confusion. God bless you, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Favor says, good evening, all. Joining from Barnet, Hertfordshire. Oh, God bless you. And Theophilus says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you too.
Greg, that's where you're joining from. I think just a few have told us where they're joining from. Be nice to know where everyone is joining in from, as we see the Talk with the Missus as a global conversation. And so we like to see good representation of people from different places. So, let us know where you are joining from. And whilst you are that, I know we're still trying to open. I want you to start thinking, everyone who is online, start thinking of, because I was thinking about this evening, what we should talk about. Obviously, the topic is why am I married but single, part 4. We've looked at a number of areas. We talked about intimacy. We talked about finance. We talked about, I think, communication, and just quite a number of things. I think we went into some very hard things the last episode. And I was thinking this evening, instead of us just my wife and I, obviously just going on some of the other things, be good to hear from you what you want us to talk about. So as it relates to being married but single. So you would raise the areas that we will talk about this evening. So whilst we're still giving the shout outs, I want you to start thinking about that. And Mrs., you're gonna get the people to share. I mean, I'm sure that the anointing on your voice will get someone to say, I've got to share this. I've got to share this.
Okay. Thank you so much for this sharing mandates that's rested on me. The Lord bless you, sir.
Amen.
But if you have not shared already, I mean, come on. This is a topic that, you never just know who is going to change their situation. So do share, put it on, copy the link, put it on your WhatsApp status, put it on your family groups, the different groups you're in that are relevant. Put it on, wherever, share it on Facebook and just share it, or do a quick call to someone, say, look, the Talk with the Missus has started. Come on, where are you at? Listen, watching, tune in, join in, commenting. All the ins.
Exactly. Let's all get in. That's it. All right. So we have the people telling us where they're joining from. Favor, good evening. All joining from Barnet, Hertfordshire. Great. Theophilus Ogwa, good evening, everyone. And he is joining from Nigeria. I think this is Dr. Ogwa, if I'm not mistaken. I think so, because now I'm remembering his initials is T, joining from Nigeria. And I got to I got to see him a few days ago. Such a great man, we just love him. Wonderful man. We love him, my wife and I, so dearly. And Abby is joining from Edmonton. She's always in the house. Abby in the house. Abby in the house. That's great.
That's it.
And
it's a typo. Hello.
Oh, yes. Hello. Yeah. Hello to you both from Claudia, London.
God bless you.
Yeah, habits and amen. Okay, yes, Claudia's corrected that. All right, so let's get into it. We have been discussing in the past. This is part 4. Can you believe that? When we started, I didn't think we were going to do part 2, to be honest with you. And then people said, "Oh, Pastor, you need to go on." At this rate, we may get to the part 10 that the people were pushing for in the first edition. But we're looking at why am I married but single? We have discussed, many areas in which people are married, but then they're living single, if you like. Yes, they're in the same house, but they can easily pass for a single because, the things that they should do together as married couples, they are not doing it together. I see Sarah G. Sarah G is one of the proponents of the part 10. She said, yes, so part 5 next. I love this lady. She's just wonderful. So, yes, so we're looking at, you're married, but then, living single. Why is that? What are some of the areas in which people are married and living single? And we've talked about a number of parts. Today, I want your involvement, maybe more of your involvement, if you would, point out some areas you would like us to talk about, because we really want to make sure that we're covering the conversation. So put it in the comment section, Pastor, what about this area? And then we will have a conversation about it. But whilst that is on, can we maybe, just begin with the area of prayer? The area of prayer. We've heard the saying that a family that prays together stays together. Believe it or not, and I'm talking about couples who are Christians and they love God, some couples feel awkward to pray, or some husbands don't like to pray with their wife. And some wives don't like to pray with their husband. And so even though they are married, they could go maybe an entire month, maybe an entire year, and they've not really prayed together. And, we should have our personal time of prayers, which I think is very important. But when it comes to the fact that you're a couple, you should be able to pray together. And when it comes to that, what do you think accounts for a couple not wanting to pray with the other person? What are some of the reasons? Could it be maybe when they are praying, the other one falls asleep and starts snoring before you know you're hearing? I don't know. I'm just trying to walk
desire out. To pray. It will just refocus on this person. Why is this person even here? Why are they even here? Why are they snoring? Look at this. What's this person doing? See how the saliva is coming down his.
Oh my God!
So it will turn into annoyance.
Exactly. Instead of leaving the prayer place happy, you live with bitter. In fact, you know that prayer, God is not going to answer it because the prayer
it didn't pass your ceiling.
It did not go past the ceiling because you left there. No, because believe it or not, there are people who came together to pray and actually left the prayer place with quarrel. No, seriously, a couple. Yeah. Husband and wife. They came together to pray and left the prayer place with quarrel. This one may not be that because one fell asleep, maybe one raised the prayer point, and then the other one said, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? From what do you mean by that? Say, no, I'm just saying we should pray. What do you mean? Because I know you. I know what you're trying to say. They forget that. and they came to pray. No, this happened. And then, before you know it, the thing turns to quarrel. I'm sure God will just be looking at them and say, these people, are they serious?
So they allow themselves to get distracted and confusion enters and takes over.
Yeah, I mean, it's but it's important for a couple to spend time to pray together. I think a couple should be able to do everything together. Everything. You should have time. Yes, there should be the individuality, sometimes prayer, sometimes you need personal time of prayer and all of that. But it is important to be able to do things together. I think that's very important. I'm having people put out areas that they want us to talk about. So I'm just going to put out some comments, and then we will try and address those areas, because I think I really want to be able to address some of those areas. Let me begin with this. Okay, Sarah G said, yes, so Pastor, I'm a big fan. God, big love for you and your family too, Pastor. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Tim Adamizing want us to talk about spirituality. Married but single in terms of spirituality. So we'll look at that. But before we come to that, let's read some comments on this prayer aspect. I think Torai just laughing away. I think maybe we were talking about the story, not quarrel. But Adejo just said, do you want to read that?
Yeah, it said, when you are not married to your friend, it is difficult to do things together, like praying, or if one of them is not really a born-again Christian. And it's so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
So
when you're friends with your spouse, there's a lot of things that is, like on the friendship level, there's a lot of things that is easier to discuss and to do on a friendship level. Then there's some things that will now be on a spouse level. So if you're only communicating with your spouse on a spouse level, then those kind of things that maybe would have been easier to get through on a friendship level, you're not able to do it. So that not a requirement, that criteria or that ability to marry your spouse is a very important one. And I think a lot of people overlook it and think that, oh no, they don't have to be my friend, but the joy of it, the person can become your friend. So even if they were not, you didn't start off on a friendship level, they could become your friend. Just try and make it work. However you made a friend is the same way you can make your spouse your friend, I believe. I hope.
I think, like you said, I think is a big blessing when you can get if the person was not your friend before you got married, okay. But also, I think just getting if you're not your friend before you got married, work at creating friendship.
Yeah.
Work at creating friendship. I think it's very important that you marry your friend, but if you didn't marry your friend, then make who you are married your friend. Is just very important, because that way there are some things that you will find that you'll be able to do together, in a more easy way. Praying together will become, such a joy. We've got Princess Fauna saying snoring during prayer. Man, it happens to a lot of people. If they want to be honest, believers, So I want to pray and seek the Lord. Father, in the name of Jesus.
Yeah. Like Happy here. She says, my husband said I shout and my prayer takes too long. So sometimes it's a style of prayer.
Prayer.
Maybe the husband is saying, I wouldn't mind praying with you, but the way you'll be shouting, and then it will be taking too long. Not that he doesn't want to pray, that's what I'm seeing there, but he just feels that it would be, this is another hour and a half. Do I have, so sometimes maybe to encourage the other spouse, let it be shorter. I remember growing up, my mom was the one that was more prayerful than my dad. My mom now, her prayers would be long. I mean, to the point that if she's saying, okay, guys, it's time for devotion, everybody's running away, because we know that this is about 2 hours of our time that nobody wants to spend. I'm being honest, but so maybe to encourage us, if it was shorter and if it was a specified kind of time, before you know it, let's let it be done, and then let the enjoyment of it now naturally happen, and then the people can now ask for longer time. But like in our go on.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I think I was thinking as well that when you have a couple where, okay, let's say, because we're not all at the same level, and we probably don't all enjoy prayer in at the same level, then you have also the person who is praying, and okay, maybe in Sister Abe's case, the husband says a prayer is long. To her, it is not long. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe, because I'm trying to look at what is the solution if you want to pray with your husband, because remember that there are times you'll be able to pray alone and pray longer. Then maybe a couple should discuss how long will this prayer be for. We'll pray together, but we're going to be praying together for so length of time. It's going to be 5 minutes. We'll pray together. It's going to be 10 minutes, or it's going to be 20 minutes, or it's going to be 30 minutes. So that you guys can actually time yourself. There's nothing wrong with setting a time to say we're praying for so time, and when is that time, we will stop. Like even in our family, the devotion that we do every day with our children, we have a time frame to say, okay, we're good, guys, we have this devotion, and this is the length of time of the devotion. So the children know, of this length of time, this is how the time is also broken up. So that the day you are feeling super spiritual and you don't take the thing, and just keep going. And then before you know it, whether it be the children in our own case now, or in the case of this discussion, your husband or your wife, then they become disinterested and they don't want to do it with you. So maybe a solution would be that a husband and a wife who needs to pray together should actually agree how long should this prayer be for. And maybe to help you so that you don't keep looking at the clock every time, set an alarm for that minute. So when it's that time, the alarm will ring, and then you will know that you need to start. Well, you need to wrap up, not start wrapping up, because some people, if you say start rounding up, that may be another.
To start to wrap up will be 2 more scriptures and 5 more prayer points.
Yes. And then the reason I say maybe set an alarm is so that you don't keep looking at the clock, and then your mind is not really in the prayer, is on the clock. Exactly. So I think that would be, because I was just thinking just now, if that's a reason why a husband would not want to pray with the wife, or why the wife would not want to pray with the husband, then, discuss it and have a time. Then, for you who feel that you have not prayed enough, after that kind of time, you can still spend time on your own, maybe at a different time to pray even more. Because even apart from the joint prayer, you should also still have your own personal time of prayer. Yeah. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, but in saying that, some people feel that their own, let's say because there's usually one that's a bit more on the edge of prayer, with somebody that's a little bit higher. So the person that's probably a bit, lower, for lack of words, would now say, well, your prayers will carry us. You go and pray. I'm counting on prayer time. I don't need to pray. You pray. You're praying for us. So what would that, because it's like that person doesn't see the importance or the dynamics of two people praying together. You know, they're not seeing it as this is something that is actually bringing a new heavenly dynamics, because if two touch anything, it will be established. If two agree on
Yeah.
anything, it will be done. If how can two walk together unless they agree? That in that place of unity, the Lord commands the blessing. You know, one touch will chase 1,000, two will chase 10,000. There's so many, you know, godly dynamics that comes in with the two people praying. So maybe the realization of the one that is relying on the other person to pray is needed, so that they can actually, you know, see the importance of it. So sometimes maybe it's an importance thing, or just relying on the other person. I'm even remembering when we were courting, we used to have a fasting and prayer every week. No matter where you were in the world, literally, we would still uphold that fasting and prayer. Then if you were in a time zone where we can, you know, communicate, then we would communicate to break the fast. But if we're not, then we'll do it individually ourselves. So is that importance and knowing, you know, that God is in this, and we're trying to achieve something here. And, you know, by the special grace of God, we've seen, you know, the prayers that we prayed even from that early stage in our union, you know, come to fruition. So it's having that understanding that God is listening, God is answering also. So what do I have on the table for God to speak on, for him to use? You know, if only one person is bringing something, it's not fair for the union. So it's that realization as well, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. And I think that, you know, the fact that your wife is a prayer warrior does not exempt you from praying, or does not exempt you from coming together with her to pray. And, you know, as you were talking about, you know, our practice when we were courting before we married, you know, we set a day of fasting, you know, once every week. I was just thinking there are many things that, and this maybe would apply to people who are not married yet, looking to get. There are many things that you can actually set up during your courting period that will make
Yeah.
your marriage period or marriage life easier. You know what I mean? If you both already started praying together when you were courting, because when people are courting, they're more willing
They
and
want to
open
marry.
to
So
do.
yeah, you want me to do this? Yeah, of course.
Exactly. So there's that thing. And for us, we're fasting once every week. And like you said, it didn't matter what time I was in. If it's favorable for us to pray together, then we pray together. If it's not favorable for us to pray together, then we pray, you know, as individuals, but still observe the fast for the day. And look at it today, we're broadcasting from different nations. It's because we've learned to be able to do things together, whether we're physically with each other or we are, you know, apart. I was speaking to a man here in Nigeria, and I was just saying to him, I said, God has given you, literally, I was telling this morning over the telephone, and his wife was there, and so they had it on speaker. We're talking about something different, and then I just said to him, I said, listen, I said, your wife has a lot of wisdom. God has given you your wife as a helpmate, but you are not using the help that God has given to you. And the wife said, he said, this thing you have said, I've been telling my husband, use me. Use me. God gave me to you to help you. So I told him, I said, God has given you help. And I said to him, I said, look, myself and my wife, there are many things that my wife does. And I'd say for your wife to be able to help you, you have to be transparent to your wife. I'm transparent to my wife. There are things I just let her get on with. Oh, you do this. Sometimes we are agreeing things with people, and I say, look, don't come to me. Oh, this thing, my wife is the one that will supervise it. And if there's an area that needs me, I say, so you need to be able to understand that. So I think all of that is probably made possible by the fact that when we were cutting, there were just some things we were able to do, and it makes it easier to do things together, whether you are physically together or not. So I think maybe it's something somebody should pick up, because when you're married and you are already together in a home, it's very easy to drift apart and start living separate lives, even though you are living in the same house. The fact that you are living in the same house does not mean you are living joint
Together.
lives. You can be living separate lives, but in the same house, which is, I think, is very serious. Got this comment from Sarah G. Do you want to read it, babe?
Yeah, she says most wives would like to pray with their husbands. I have a close family member whose husband tells her, "So I don't join the prayer." So if I don't join the prayer, so if I don't join the prayer, so if I don't join, the prayer won't get answered. I have
so if I don't join the prayer, won't the prayer get answered? I think that's what she's trying to.
Okay. I've had a long day. Go and do your prayer, I beg. So it's just disinterested.
Yeah. Okay. Someone talked about the long prayer. Sarah G again says, long prayer. I can relate. Every time we get ready to pray, my daughter warns me, "Mom, I've got a meeting in an hour. Please, just a heads up." See that? No, but again, it affects husbands. Sometimes it affects even parents, and that's why maybe your children don't want to be praying with you. You know, because sometimes the way some parents run prayer time at home, they want to run it like they're having a full revival meeting in church. You know, and I mean, a church service time is like 1 hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours. And then they take in, maybe you lead a prayer time at home that is 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and people have not planned for that. So it's good to agree the time. If it's something planned for, then it's okay. I'm not saying, as a family you can't pray long together. But if you're praying long is making people not to join the prayer, making them to be disinterested, it is better to pray short and have the family pray together in agreement than to pray long, and then by the time you are saying the last amen, you are the only one there, or the next time you want to feast prayer, nobody wants to be there.
Yeah, and I think also trying to get other people involved as well. So delegating the different things so that you're not the only person that's leading the prayer from beginning to end every single time. Because when somebody now has a responsibility, okay, like you're gonna raise 2 prayer points, or you're gonna sing the songs, or you're gonna do the rounding up, or so that will now put them a little bit more alert that, okay, I have to be part of this, and I have to be a bit more into this. So is finding a way to meet everybody at their level. Not everybody is high up there, so finding a way to meet everybody at their level and get them involved at their level. I was even remembering, like, when you're saying it's not like it's planned and all that stuff, that my mom also, herself and her cousin, when we were young, I mean, probably, if I can remember, I was probably about 6 or 7 or something. We used to go for monthly night vigils, family night vigils in my auntie's house. Monthly night vigils. They'll be on Friday. We'll be there for hours. But it was only my mom, myself, and my sister. My brother at that time wouldn't join, because now he's gotten to the age where he can say no. So we went at that stage where we could say no. Then my auntie and her children that also cannot say no, and that was it. Those that could say no were not there. So husbands on both sides were not there. Older children that could say no were not there. So like you're saying, it's the style. If you do it in a way that everybody is accommodated, then it would help. Not overly accommodating, or that you now water down everything, but find a way.
Yeah. No, you shouldn't water than everything. Well, Sister Abby said, thank you so much for this advice. And she's added, most of the time, all I hear is your prayer will cover us. And then she has now said, following that comment, she said, I will pray short now. Then she put laugh. I mean, we're not saying reduce your prayer life.
Not the prayer life, it's the corporate something together.
No. We're not saying she should reduce her prayer life. But when you're praying with your husband, agree with him how long the prayer should be before you guys start, so that you can keep within that time frame, and then you can pray on your own longer. Deacon's Glory's raised this, which I think is very important to look at. She has said, or sometimes prayer becomes a way to tell people about their wrongdoings, and that can put them off. It's true. Some people,
you're raising prayer points against the person.
Yeah, raising prayer point against the person, or the thing that they did wrong that you have been carrying in your heart, that you could not face them to tell them in a loving way. You now come and make it in the midst of the prayer. Well, let us pray for some people in this house who are always not helping out in washing plates, that God will touch their heart so that they will be washing plates. You know, I mean, if you want to talk to somebody, you should have a conversation with them.
Surely there's an easier way for this.
Exactly. So if by the time you now use the prayer time as the time to be pointing, you will just be pulling yourselves apart. Or maybe
no, but to be fair,
yeah.
To be fair, this morning, True Life Stories, this morning, my daughter was a little bit, would I say moody or whatever, I don't know. So, and one of the prayer points that I raised was, Lord, let us, help us to have joy. Fill our hearts with joy. Overwhelming, overflowing joy. We're using, and I even said my daughter's name as a point of contact. Everybody will have joy. So are you saying that prayer point was wrong?
Well, I think if you want to talk to somebody,
became more joyful.
If you want to talk to somebody, it's better to talk to them rather than you now use the prayer. Okay, imagine now you have a couple, a husband and wife, and then maybe the previous night the husband was trying to touch the wife, so I'm tired. Then in the morning, they are now coming together for devotion. Then the man is now raising prayer point. Let us pray. Let us pray.
That's some of these shops that should be open, all hours are closed. Let us pray that God will stop all this closure of shops.
You know, I mean, you now discover that at the end of the day, the person that you are trying to pray with, they know that this prayer is not a prayer point. It is a complaint, or you are trying to use the prayer time as a time of correcting them. Say God should touch these women, that they should know their responsibility to their husband. Those of them who are failing in their responsibility to their husband.
That is fraud. It's fraud. That all
yes,
this fraud,
the Bible says that it's fraud. And we don't want anybody, committing fraud in this house, because we know that fraud can bring this. The woman will not be thinking in her head, is it just because of this last night that you are preaching all this gospel, of this? So you have to be, you can't just use the prayer time as the time of correcting the prayer point is now scores that you want to settle. That's the time. So I think it's very important that people, are mindful of that. I think it's important. Then why am I married but single? Sandra is raised something. She said, let's talk about opposite sex close friends. There are situations where these close friends become too close that it becomes uncomfortable. How do we go about it without hurting?
Starting,
Or I think, yeah, hurting and then maybe quarreling. Yeah.
No, starting a quarrel.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I think maybe starting a quarrel. How do we go about it without starting?
Okay, without hurting or starting a quarrel. Okay. So I mean, yes, there are certain friendships that you can be, and I think this is very sensitive, but it's very crucial. There are certain friendships that as a married man or as a married woman, you can be involved in that can make you to start living a single life.
Yeah, friends.
I don't know if you understand what I mean.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. There are certain friendship that you who is married, now you're a married man, there is a way you will be close to another lady that will make your wife, even though she's married to you, she will now be living as single because the affection and the time of communication and what would you call it now? All the things you are supposed to be doing with her.
The communication, yeah.
Yeah, the communication, you will be spending it with another person outside. You could say, well, but we're not doing anything. Yes, we agree. You are not doing anything. But it's a thing where, you know, you are creating a scenario where you are literally, if you like, making your wife to live single. I mean, in some cases, it could be the woman who has this male friend that you are always, you know, communicating, because we all have emotional needs. And if that emotional need is being met by somebody outside, then the person that God has put in your life to meet it, you will not be seeing the need for them. Yes, you're married to them. The scripture may be holding the both of you together. But when it comes to your emotional needs or your communication needs being met, or the expression of love being met, you're having it met outside. So what happens to the person you have inside that you are married to? They then living single because you're getting your groove outside. And I'm saying literally, it's not like
it may be platonic.
I'm saying you are not, it's not like, oh, I'm sleeping with somebody outside. No, you're not sleeping with the person. No. And the both of you are just close and very close to the degree that they satisfy your emotional communication and all of that need that you don't really need that from your spouse. So I think it's important to be mindful of that.
Yeah, it's important to be mindful of that, and I think it's important for the person that is feeling left out, if you like, or feeling abandoned or neglected, to also speak out, because that your spouse may not actually realize that they're doing this. So if you do speak out, it's also important for that spouse that is the person that's now neglecting you by having such a close friend. They need to also adjust. You know, your spouse can't be telling you something that is putting them in a vulnerable situation, because it's basically saying, I know you're friends with this person, but I don't like your friendship, and your friendship is taking you away from me. You know, it's putting them in a vulnerable situation. So your spouse needs to realize that I'm, you know, this is kind of can go one or two ways. You know, it's either going to be good for us or it's going to be negative for us. So since your spouse has got that courage to tell you, look, I don't like this, listen to them, adjust, get them involved in the conversation. If that friendship has to, you know, totally continue in the same levels. If it doesn't have to continue in the same levels, then cut back from that person and make sure that your spouse also knows that you've cut back and carry them along a lot more. I think it's really, really important to be able to do that. All right. So whilst Mr. talk with the Mr. and Mrs. So whilst Mr. is reloading, let me go back to a comment here. that oh, Mr. God, Mr. God. He'll be back. Okay, so whilst Mr. is coming back, let me go to this comment. Oh, see, he's back. Yeah, let me go to this comment when it was in relation to our last talk, which was, hello, Mr. Hello,
yeah,
sir.
I'm back now. My network.
Yeah. The Nigerian factor. Okay, I think you mentioned something before about I can't remember, you were talking about intimacy or so. Okay, closed shop and open shop, prayer points and all this. So Ade now says, Father Lord, open the eyes of men to see that that the human body is not firewood. So expand on that comment, please.
Father Lord, open the eyes of men to see that human body is not firewood. I think this what she has written there now, as funny as it is, and as we laugh, I think this is where a big question actually arises for I think a lot of men.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that women don't want sexual intimacy? And it is something that they do for men, and as such, because they do
this network.
it for men, you know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so I said this is what most men will be asking. Okay, all right. So the question is, because with what she's written there, which okay, so the question
Nigerian factor. God. We're still not hearing you.
really, because it's not the first time we've heard this, and I've heard women say this before.
Okay, I think I'll take over because I'm not hearing the fullness of what my darling husband wants to say. So I'm sure I kind of I can flow with where he wanted to go with his comment. Is that, are we saying that it's just something that women do to satisfy their husbands, or are we saying that they don't have any pleasure in it themselves? Is it that they are just in it for the ride, and once the ride is over, thank you, see you later? I don't think so. So it's a thing that both people, both husband and wife, are part of this. I read something today talking about sex is food. Yeah. So imagine how many times you want to eat food. Even if you don't eat 3 square meals a day, you eat it once a day. Food is an important part of your life. It's something that you need to be able to survive. So food is something that is needed and necessary for you. So sex also is something that is necessary just as much as food is. It may not be in the same frequency. It may not be 3 times a day. It may not be once a day. It may not be once a week or whatever, however you're comfortable with your frequency. I think we discussed this on part 1. But to now say that is something that I'm doing just for my husband, no, it's a wrong mindset. This is something that you are both coming together to be able to do, to enjoy yourselves and to strengthen your marriage. It's an important part of your marriage. So putting it as, oh, it's a thing, it's something I do for him, is a wrong mindset to have. All right, husband, you're back, Mister, my darling Mister. So,
well, can you hear me now?
we can, and see you too.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so I mean, it's
Oh.
because
Okay. All right, so the Nigerian network factor has brought in part 5. I think you're the one that's touching part 5 is
all
a
right
must
now.
now.
You said?
No, I said you're the one that's touching part 5 is a must now. So Nigerian factor is ushering part 5 speedily. All right. Well, we've had talks. But in terms of what we've said this evening, we do have to be able to find a way to carry or pray with our spouse, pray with our family members, where it's not one-sided. And we're not single, married but single in that area. So finding a way that if you know your husband or your wife is prone to sleeping or getting agitated or irritated, then find a way that it would work. Maybe set time limit so that it would be in a timely kind of thing that would encourage. You can always increase the time. But start in a time that it would be in a great encouragement for both people. Then we then spoke about okay, Mister, you're back now. Talked about friendships anyway, having friendships that are may cause issues. How do you find a way to tell them that you're uncomfortable with it? You have to find a way to let them know that you're uncomfortable with it. And then once you are known then of this fact, then please do find a way to adjust. At the end of the day, your marriage is more important than your friendship. So let your priorities be correct so that you'll be able to accommodate the right person. And then we were on the matter of sex. Mister, are we back in, sir? Oh, you're on mute. We can't hear you. You're on mute.
Okay, so I said I'm in, the network is coming in and out.
Okay.
So if you can hear me now, then that's great. If the audience can also hear me,
yeah,
as well. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so I mean, we were talking before about at this comment where she talked about Father Lord open the eyes of men to see that human body is not firewood, and I was saying that is not a it's a statement that maybe we've heard before, and it makes men wonder if intimacy and sex, if it's something that women see as what they do for men, not really something that women want. It's just a service they render to men. Is that what it is? Is it that they don't really want it? No, because I think it's important that for men to understand that if that is what it is. Because if it's something that they want, then I think most men cannot understand why it then looks like it's something that
the one-sided thing.
I do for my husband. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm communicating.
Yeah, we hear you. We understand. You're communicating.
Yeah, so I think like Sandra said, part 5 is a must now. I think that is something that we need to discuss. Yeah, no, yeah, I think it's important to be able to try to understand it, because put it this way: if you know that this is something that this gender don't really, it's not really, it's not something that they do. They're just doing it for me. Yeah, for this other gender. Then it helps you to arrange your expectation. But if you believe, like we were taught in biology, that the drive is in you and is in the other gender, then you can't understand why the other gender, makes it look like it's something they are doing to please you. So I think that that's really is really a big issue for men. I think that's a big issue for men. So that is something that we are going to talk about. Then we have Theophilus Ogwa, which I said, what about husband and wife eating together? Are they supposed to feed each other only on their wedding day? Because on their wedding day, they feed each other. So, should husband and wife, should they be eating together? And if they are eating together, should there be moments where the spoon goes across to feed the other person? Or should it just be on the wedding day? You are laughing. No, but it's true.
I'm laughing. I think it's a very good question. It's a very good question. But I think let's it can relate to it's called again. It can relate to literally anything. There's many things that we start on the wedding day, or we start on the lead up to the wedding day, that we don't now continue on in the marriage. An example now is feeding each other. I'm giving you food, you open your mouth and eat and all that. Before too long, people get very complacent, or they get very relaxed or familiar. That's the word. People get too familiar with their spouse. Oh, he's always going to be there. Oh, she's always going to be there. And you then just take them for granted. So the things that we know that we want to continue in our marriage, let us actually start it and continue it. But if you know there's some things you don't want to continue your marriage, then maybe don't even start it. To be honest, even this feeding of each other on the wedding day, it wasn't really, because I'm not really, there's some people that go to weddings every weekend. They're at a wedding. I wasn't really that kind of person. So it was our own wedding that I now saw, that feeding somebody wedding cake is a must, or something that you have to do. I didn't even really know it. So I was sitting there. Then I said, okay, you have to feed each other the cake. I was like, okay. So I'm not, I just went straight. Gave my husband the cake. If you see the video, just gave him the cake straight. I'll finish my assignment. Then when it was now his turn, I didn't know you're meant to do all these styles, When it was now my husband's turn, he now got a napkin, wipe my hair, wipe my forehead, wipe my cheek, then done all this, done all kind of different things. And then like nicely now gave me the cake. I was like, I didn't know that I was meant to be a bit more stylish. Me, I was just straight. Here, take your cake. But would I now say, okay, because we didn't I didn't know that before, now I'm not even giving him food, or I'm not eating with him? Some couples, they sit together and they eat from the same plate. Sometimes myself and my husband do that. Sometimes, some couples sit on the same, dine on the dining table and eat together. Some couples, eat separately. So whatever works for you, I think, and whatever would ensure that there is a togetherness in whatever it is that you're doing, I think that's the most important thing. So whether it's eating, whether it's cooking, whether it's shopping. You know, some spouse, you'll never see the husband inside a shopping market. You know, for those that even have the luxury of shopping market, Western world, easy. Before you now talk of market in Nigeria. So some husbands will never go, some wife will never go as well. So togetherness sometimes in those different areas is quite good. Yes, Pastor is very romantic. Thank you, sister. He is very romantic. I was just saying straight, here, take your cake. I didn't know. Oh, he's gone. Okay, Sandra, you're saying maybe I need to make up for the wedding feeding part. Okay, make up. I don't know how to make that up, but as in that particular part up, but I've been doing very well. Every area. Good. Oh, okay, let me not mark myself. Daddy, Sandra said that maybe I need to make up for that wedding eating feeding part. So I said she shouldn't worry, that I've been very good in every other area. But I'm marking myself, so let me not mark myself. You mark me now. In front of the...
I can hear you well because of the network is breaking.
Oh.
I can see what Sandra is written there. But you're saying something.
Yeah, I said that I've been making up on the different areas that... Can you hear me? But it's not for me to mark myself. Yeah. Okay, but it's not for me to mark myself. That is you that will mark.
Well, yeah, I think you are making up in different areas, but more making up will be helpful to help to correct.
See, like this one is
so
oh, good.
That's interesting. So, but I think that a couple, even if you are not able to eat together every time, I think you should have time where you eat together. And I think you actually feed yourself. I think it's all those little things sometimes. They help. There are times you should eat from the same plate. There are times where even though you are eating from separate plates, you should, just unplanned. Take the spoon and feed the person. Feed them with some ice cream and some fruits. Exactly. All those things, they help to spice up
many things.
Yeah, so I think it's very important. It just helps. It just helps. I've seen a lot of comments. It's amazing what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If we can pop them up on the screen, that would be helpful.
Yeah, I actually did already, but I think maybe your system. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
I think.
Yeah.
I think it's important that I think the couples should eat together. They should find time, eat together. It may not happen every time because when you're busy, but you should. And I think, sometimes unplanned, you should feed yourself. It could just be 1 spoon or 2 spoons in the course of that. I think is helpful. And Dr. Obin, bless you, sir. It's nice to have you on. He said, understanding this couple's matrix is a lifetime assignment. It's true. I mean, it's so true. It's just a lifetime assignment. And I think it's something that, you keep learning and learning daily. Well, I think our time is up for today. We're going to try to wrap up. It looks like we're going to have to do part 5 because that message from the comment from Adi Jojo is something I think we need to kind of dig into and explore.
Dig deep,
and then also look at the other side of that message, which relates to what Sarah G sent. And I think she raised the the issue of her friend in part 1, and she's kind of asked a question in relation to that today. That what should a woman do when the husband is disinterested, or the husband is not.
Okay, so this is the comment that Pastor was just mentioning there. It says, I don't think so. I think women only show this interest when there is no excitement. When a man is unromantic all day long and then suddenly requests for sex when they get in bed at nighttime, that make a woman see it as a routine, something she has to do as part of her marital duties. So this is a comment that Pastor is referring to, which we will discuss and go deeper in on our next broadcast. Okay, Nigeria network. Yeah, I know.
It's just so babe, why the network is still allowed me to come back in, I'm going to mandate you to wrap up, because I think the network is literally at it now, and then we will do part 5. But I mean, thank God we were able to get through.
I know. Yeah.
So let me just highlight some things we need to cover. One, where the husband is denying the wife is one of the things that Sarah G was looking at. Then Tim Azmaisin talked about spirituality. So it's something we're going to have to discuss. We need to make note of this. So I'm mentioning them now because then it's easier for us to pick them from the end of this video when we're preparing for the next one. And then also, so we talked about when the husband, because we talked about when the wife denies the husband. What about when the husband denies the wife? And then we'll talk about spirituality, as it were. And there was something else. I can't remember it now. Wives are trying to rush before the network rushes me out. So I hand over to you to do all the wrapping up. And if the network allows me to be able to say bye at the end with you, then I will do that.
So let me wrap up as so that we can get you in, hopefully. All right. So it's been a joy and a blessing and a pleasure as always. Everybody has, added so much to the conversation. God bless you all. Very true lifetime assignment. You learn and unlearn and adjust. So in everything that we're doing, it is a lifetime assignment. We're learning, we're unlearning, and we are adjusting. So let's continue to remember that as we continue in our homes and in our families and in our marriages. Tomorrow we are back again on this very platform that you are logged into for And Zion Prevail. Tomorrow is the grand finale of I Carry Favor. Or I must carry favor. So you need to carry favor. I need to carry favor. There's some things that favor would do that, my labor would not. So it will just exempt me from it. So let's tune in for And Zion Prevail. That's 6 a.m. GMT time. We are back here, Talk with the Missus, in another 2 weeks to continue on part 5. I believe that the Almighty God will help us and help you. And, prepare for it. Send the messages even ahead of time to a friend. Send this broadcast to them ahead of time and have a conversation, with whoever you need to have a conversation with, so that we'll be able to discuss the different areas. And if you feel that, there's an area that I really wanted you guys to discuss, but I didn't want to show it, I didn't want it to be displayed, I didn't want my name on it, then send it to us privately. Send it either, a WhatsApp message to the And Zion Prevail number, or send it as an email, admin@pastormoses.com. We'll be able to deal with that accordingly. I was trying so hard, but it's now lagging. But so it's been a joy, it's been a blessing, and we always look forward to seeing you again and again and again. And that this time I, on our behalf, are gonna say bye. God bless you all. Have a blessed and Mr. is back. Okay, to say bye.
All right, good that I'm able to say bye. God bless you. We appreciate all of you, and we will see you again. I don't know if you guys can still see me.